On the other extreme, some paths and people focus too much on working for justice, and they fail to nurture the spirit. We've all met activists who seem to be just driven by their anger. And they often appear arrogant and self-righteous and unhappy and burnt out. Some of us have even been those activists, working from that place of anger, gritting our teeth, ready to change the world, kicking and screaming if we have to. But when we learn to combine the sacred and spiritual with the prophetic, we create an unstoppable force for peace and justice. The tragic truth is that if you're not angry about some of the things that are going on in this world around us, then you're not paying attention. We've already mentioned this morning girls being raped, girls forced into sexual slavery, genital mutilation, domestic abuse, and public floggings of adult women for wearing pants or exposing an ankle. Anger is a natural and healthy response. The question is, what do we do with our anger? We can try to avoid it through escape or addiction, or try to stay busy working and consuming and pretend that it doesn't exist. We can try to tell ourselves that the world is perfect in every way, or that it's all happening according to a divine plan. Or even tell ourselves that this world is not what's important, it's the next world. But let's not fool ourselves. The world we live in is sick in some pretty scary ways. And if we're awake, if we're willing to live our lives awake, then we're going to have to deal with it. So we need ways to transmute our anger into something constructive and holy. That's where spiritual practices come in. Spiritual practices such as worship and meditation and prayer and praise and yoga and others can help us to turn our anger and our pain into selfless love. And there is nothing more dangerous to an unjust status quo than selfless love. It's the kind of fearless and selfless love exhibited by Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi and Jesus, who were willing to and who did give everything to help create a better world for others, for us. It's the kind of fearless and selfless love exhibited by Lubna Hussein in Sudan today, who gave up her immunity and is willing to receive 40,000 lashes, if that's what it takes, to end the injustice to women and little girls in her country. There's nothing more dangerous to an unjust status quo than a fearless love. Her love for women and little girls and their future makes her fearless of the violence and the injustice of her government that is supposed to intimidate her. And so her fearlessness makes their violence, exposes their violence for the shameful and repugnant corruption that it is. Her fearlessness exposes their violence for what it is. Now, good religion is religion that combines the spiritual and the prophetic and reveals that either one without the other is impotent. And such religion demonstrates how a spiritual and the prophetic together leads us to our salvation. Not a salvation that's focused on saving some souls while others be damned. It's focused on saving lives, real lives, from real evil and real hells that exist right here, right now. Now, there have been points when our church tradition could be criticized for being too focused on the prophetic and neglecting the spiritual and mystical aspects of religion, but not now. You can come here on Wednesday nights and learn meditation, Tai Chi, and yoga. We've recently had classes on prayer beads and mandalas. You can come on Friday nights once a month to learn and practice forms of praise through singing. And our sanctuary is full most Sundays with people seeking solace and inspiration and courage, so that in a world surrounded on all sides by bad news, we can offer an honest and valuable gospel, one in which service is its law. Our conscience may initially be poked and pricked and prodded by our anger, but through our faith and practice, we can create an alchemy that turns that anger into a fearless love. And when our lives are animated by fearless love, there's no telling what we can do. Let's ensure that this church remains a prophetic voice in this community, speaking up and speaking out for the least of these in our society, those who are easily made to be last and lost and left out. So that when the day comes, when you and I will close our eyes for the last time, may we do so with a peace and a confidence that comes from having cloaked ourselves in fearless love and having done our part for the least. May we join hands and hearts, men and women, together and support and protect each other always. If you can't do it for God, and if you can't do it for goodness sakes, then do it for the little girls. The ones who should perspire on playgrounds, not in sweatshops. The girls whose days should be bathed in dignity and delight, not brothels or brutality. The girls who should be able to live free of fear and given the chance to learn and to love. Girls whose eyes should shine with an incredible light because their minds and their hearts are holy. The elders have spoken. And if they don't know what's right, who does?